So because of that, he's saying more or less try to bring their common sense in, their common sense of good, of right, of what's just, and take away what is their desire. Maybe not completely take it away, but at least bring it under control.
Right. I think that those are like basically our perfect instructions for what to do. Just like not quarreling and like being gentle and like what you said, like speaking the truth in love. And even if they are in your face about it, you kind of still have to be willing to like back down and calm them down. And I just think they're awesome instructions.
Yeah, they are awesome instructions, right? And so let's look at how many of you feel like you're going out there as a servant of God, right? And this is who's being addressed, the servant of the Lord, right? So this is the way the servant of the Lord is supposed to conduct themselves in the face of opposition. And it's really interesting to me that, Paul says this to Timothy to instruct him, to help him to understand the way he is supposed to be. So let's go ahead to the next slide. Okay, next slide. The servant of the Lord must not quarrel. Must not quarrel. Now, what I have done is in the parentheses, I have given you an idea of what this word in its original means. Okay, but you're already used to this. I say the original Greek, and you won't be offended at that, right? You know the New Testament was written in Greek, and so the original Greek, the idea, okay, the word must not quarrel means not to take up arms literally, because it has to do with, a term that means combat. Okay, so quarreling is a worthless activity. It doesn't accomplish anything. Quarreling is when we're trying to, and even in our own speech, to try to defeat somebody, to try to drive them down and elevate ourselves. That's what quarreling is. Now, I like the way G.K. Chesterton put it. He says people quarrel because they don't know how to argue. Arguing is a good thing. Arguing is something that is productive, because what you're trying to do is persuade somebody to think differently. Because you know that if they adopt this idea, it's going to be good for them. That's speaking the truth in love, because ultimately you want to do what is best for that person. So I think that Paul is kind of unpacking the idea of what it means to speak the truth in love with this passage. Okay? And we'll find that this term is used other places by Paul about not quarreling. But, now the word "but" is the strongest word. It's an adversative, okay? And it's the strongest term that Paul could use to draw a contrast. Instead of being quarrelsome, okay? Instead of trying to make yourself look good and beat somebody down with your words, you are going to be what? Gentle. To how many? Just the ones that make you feel good? Just the ones that, are happy or agree with you? No. To all. And he's going to kind of spell this out to us, right? You must be mild. In 1 Thessalonians 2:7, Paul uses that word one other time, that word gentle. And he tells the Thessalonians that I was among you as a nurse. And I was gentle among you, as a nurse is gentle with its children. What? How in the world, why in the world would Paul say you're supposed to be gentle, mild, like a nurse with people that you're in opposition with? Is that realistic? What do you think? What do you think is going on? Yeah.
I think it's a thing of respect. I mean, we need to be showing respect to all people, no matter if we agree with them or if we don't.
Okay. All right. Yeah, definitely a thing of respect. Right. Let's go ahead and flip to the next verse. I think that this is a really powerful passage verse. I've used it applied it over and over and over again, because I've dealt with a lot of opposition in my life, people disagreeing with me and in my face about, things, and I just remember a soft answer turns away wrath. But grievous words, a harsh word, stirs up more anger. Okay, so basic communication skills are given to us here in Proverbs about what it means not to quarrel, but to be gentle. And you give a soft answer, and it turns away wrath. Have you ever seen that happen? Or you get so quarrelsome, and so I got to get my point across, that you forget to be soft. I've seen this happen, folks. I've seen somebody up in my face ready to punch me. Okay? And I just said to this individual, I said, you know what? I'm not going to fight you, and I'm not here to fight. I'm here to help you. And I just kept my hands right here. He could have punched me. He could. He was angry with me. But he just dropped his hands. And he took a step back. He put his head down. And I was able then to be the first one to touch in a gentle way. I don't say it's going to work that way all the time, but I've seen the power of this passage work. And I hope that if you're in any kind of leadership, you remember this one, especially if you're going to be dealing with irate people. Okay? Now, let's go to the passage again. Let's break it down some more. And able to teach, okay? To all, that was important. It doesn't matter. There's no qualification, there's no conditions to whom I am going to be gentle, but to all. I'm able to teach. That means I can provide useful instruction. Now, you're going to be given materials to hand out to people if they come up to you. And Daniel's going to tell you what those are, and Lisa's going to give you guidance on that as well. But to be able to teach means you know what you're talking about. You know what your position is. And you're able to teach. This doesn't mean that you're just going to sit there and be, passive, but you are going to be able to instruct and give good information. Now, the word patient is an interesting word. It's a compound word. It means literally to hold up under evil. Hold up under evil. Now, let's put that together for what we're doing, for what you're going to be doing on the sidewalk. Holding up under evil, under maliciousness. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? But wait a second, though. If somebody comes up and really gets belligerent and angry and hateful and says mean, hurtful things to you, can you hold up? Can you hold up? Are you going to be discouraged, defeated? Well, I think that if you have the perspective that Paul's talking about here, that you won't. You realize where your warfare really is. It's not against that person, right? But that's kind of getting ahead of ourselves. So patient means hold up under evil. Humility means meekness or willingness to suffer. A willingness to suffer. What if somebody does, want to harm you? And of course, there are laws, and you're going to be protected, and there are going to be police, patrolling the area. But you just never know what could happen, and you being a gentle person who is there, you don't know what might happen. You're in a sense, you're putting yourself in a risky situation. Not completely. I'm not trying to scare you away from it, right? But obviously, people are going to be there who could be hostile. Okay? But a willingness to suffer. That's what true passion is, by the way. Is the word passion comes from the same root as this word humility, pathos, and it means to suffer for a worthy cause. That you are willing to endure hardship and affliction because